I've been doing extensions for almost my whole career. I've been doing hair about 13 years. Hi everyone, welcome. My name is Amanda. I'm here at the Covenant main headquarters in New York. Super excited to be here. I'm going to be talking about ways to get new clients, consultations and closing the sale, systems and tools for a successful business, and creating your own business structure. So jumping right in, let's start with ways to get new clients. So whether you are just starting out with extensions or you've been doing extensions for a long time, I think it's always great to be getting new clients in your chair. Something that I think is overlooked a lot is talking to your existing clients. For me, I don't like to try to do any hard sells or telling my clients that their hair is really fine and they should get extensions. But what I do is just find a way to mention to my existing clients that I do extensions. And I usually tell them in the way of that I'm really excited that I learned something new, or, all my clients know that I'm doing a chat with Covenant Maine today, things like that. Just finding a way to bring it up. And if they're interested, they will ask you more questions. Another way is if your salon has reception. I know we all have different setups at our salons, but if they do, make sure to tell your salon receptionist or whoever's doing your booking that you do offer this service, and make sure that they don't have any questions about it and they understand what it is in your booking process. Social media obviously could be its own class, so I'm going to keep it super brief. But if I could tell you one thing, I'm actually going to tell you two, but if I could tell you just one thing to do for your social media, it's a call to action. So you want to make sure that when you post a beautiful picture of the hair that you've done, you're telling them text to book, DM to book, click the link to book. You're telling them what to do next. So I try to structure this class where the whole step of the way, one thing leads to another, and it's the whole process start to finish. So you want to always be pushing them into the next step. Another thing for social media is creating content. So a lot of times, for me anyways, it's really hard to get photos in the salon. I do it, but I know they're not as good as they can be when I only have 5 minutes or my client's already waiting. So I actually schedule time, usually on my day off, that I come in and I just spend one day doing one person, and I call it a model. And I take as much time as I need to really get good content. When I have someone come in, essentially I'm doing hair for free, I make sure I get the most out of it. I make sure they know that, I need as much time, don't book anything after. And I want to make sure that one model is not one post. So I'm going all over the salon. The salon that I work at has 3 stories. So I'm going, upstairs, downstairs, in the front, outside. I've even taken clients to Soho. You can rent a space, but just making sure that you're getting a lot of content when you do take those photos. I want to talk about consultations. So in consultations, I also call it closing the sale. So it feels like consultations maybe don't fit exactly in a business class, but the way that I do them, it's really a very important step for me in getting the client to the next step. So I do it a very specific way. So with consultations, I have every client fill out an application prior. So once they find me on what's normally social media, I link them to an application. So I have the link in my bio where they just answer a few questions. I want to know their history with extensions. I want to see pictures and what their goal is first. That helps me be a little bit more prepared and get some of those questions out of the way. I do all my consultations in person. And the reason I do that is because there's certain things with extensions like density. There's questions that I can't answer over text. If you can and it works for you, that's great. But for me, it's just a little bit more difficult, and I want to get everything settled in the consultation. So my consultations are actually 30 minutes, which is a lot of time on my books. But I use every second in that 30 minutes. I don't book it in the middle of my day because I usually don't have time with my booking. So I have my consultations be at 9 and 9:30. When they book the consultation, it is complimentary, but I do charge a no-show fee just so we make sure that I'm not coming in, an hour, 30 minutes early and, not being productive. When it comes to moving it to the next step, so you get all the information out of the way with the consultation. I want to figure out from them what their goal is, answer any questions, explain to them how extensions work and what it's going to take, like lifestyle-wise. I want to get their formula. So their formula is their length, texture, color, and how many wefts they're going to need. I always make sure to write that down for every client. Whether or not I think they're going to book, I make sure I have a note for them. So if you see me for a consult, I have your name and your formula in my phone. The way that I take it to the next step is a little bit of a more chill approach. Like I really don't push people into getting extensions because I think it's a big purchase that I want people to have the time to think about. So because I'm super organized and I have their application with all their info, I have their formula, I can tell them, it's okay to have time to think about it. But what I say is, okay, I have everything written down here. When you're ready, the next steps is this. And I tell them what the next steps to book are. So there's a very clear path from when they get the consultation and when they book. And sometimes they want to book right away. A lot of times they want to think it over. But what's most important is just having those clear steps and your clear systems on how to go from the consultation to booking. The next thing I'm going to talk about is systems and tools for a successful business. When I first started doing extensions, I do think I had no idea what I was doing in terms of booking. And it was a lot of labor, basically, for every client. Every client I was manually booking in, adjusting the timing per row. There wasn't really a system, and it took a lot of time, and it's a little draining. So I've incorporated a lot of technology, a lot of streamlining so that my booking system is now more hands-off. So at first, I was using the salon's booking software. Because I'm a renter, I was able to kind of break off and use my own. I ended up going with Vagaro. And the reason is I did a lot of research, but with Vagaro, I can have everything in one place. So I can customize my services so that it's very clear in how I want them. I have the clients booking by how many rows they have. So I have a service on there, 1 row, 2 row, 3 row. I also have every client sign a waiver, and I do this actually for both extensions and color. But for extensions in particular, I have a lot of policies, which I'll get to next. But the policies are very, very important. There's a lot for clients to understand in terms of a good example would be you are responsible for the home care. So if you go home and you don't brush your hair, it's not my responsibility to refund you when the extensions get damaged. So things like that, I think it's very, very important to be super clear with your clients. And with Vagaro, I was able to just have them sign it. I don't really have to, talk about it during the consultation because there's already so much other things that we're worried about. And it's just all there for them. The other thing that I do with Vagaro, it has a approval to book feature. It makes me a little nervous if somebody just books extensions and they're a new client and I've never seen them before. So if I do see a new client pop up, I can actually deny the appointment and send them a message saying, oh, please fill out this application, kind of send them back to the beginning of my process. So that's made life a lot easier for me because now my clients can all book online and I don't have to individually and manually book each client. Taking payments for the hair. I do this electronically as well. I use Stripe. It's very similar to Square or whatever works for you. But what I like about Stripe is that I can text them a link and it's very simple. After the consult, I tell them, go think it over and I'm going to text you the link to book. This is done through Stripe. So Stripe, I have already set up all the pricing for the hairs in Stripe. So I just type in what they're getting, send them the link. They can pay with Apple Pay, Klarna, credit card, whatever works for them. And then it just goes straight to me. So I've found this to be very simple, and it also gives me a little bit of flexibility to let them, leave the salon. They don't have to book right away. We can do it later. Policies already went into, but I do want to touch on it again. Again, really important to have clear policies when you do extensions and to make sure that your clients understand all the things that are important, like home care, what they're responsible for doing, what you're not liable for. So not only do I have them sign it, but I have it on my website as well. For client communication, I have an app called Open Phone. On the Open Phone app, it's a separate phone number. I was able to set business hours. So it doesn't ring after a certain time. I'm closed on Sundays. So I don't feel like I have to be always available. And it just gave me that little bit of separation. I also feel like it's really helpful. It's an app on your phone, so everything is in one place. When I'm communicating with my clients, I can go back and see a history on everything, and I don't have to look in my DMs and my email and try to find, the conversation. It's all in one place. I touched on this earlier, I set up a website. I think you really easily make your own on Squarespace, but it is really, really helpful to have a place where the home care lives, policies, pricing, just all the information they need to know. And this also saved me a lot of time because I do get clients DMing or texting and they want to know information before the consultation, which is very understandable, but it is, again, really time consuming to every client go through all the information that there is. So what I do say to them now, instead of answering all their questions when I'm off and not working, is say, all the information you can find on my website. There's frequently asked questions, everything you need to know there. And then the pricing and all the stuff that's specific to you will answer in the consultation. So, creating your own business structure, I'm going to give you guys all homework, and that is to look at your process from the beginning. So from where the client finds you to consultation to booking and so on, and really see if it's simple for the client, for one, see if anything's complicated or confusing, is it clear what steps to take, and then also from your own perspective. So taking a look and seeing where you're spending a lot of time and what can be automated. I want you to keep it really, really simple as it can be. If anything is time consuming, just see if you can simplify it down. Getting organized, using the tools and technology to your favor, and being consistent. So an example of being consistent would be, if you set up the client phone and people are still DMing you, are you going to DM them back? Or are you going to tell them, okay, actually I use this phone number now, text the number to contact me. I made a list here of all the tools and technology that I use that I want to go through with you guys. It's just a few helpful tips. Some of it I've already gone over. Canva is really nice for designing. I used it for a branded home care sheet. So when my clients see me in the salon, I actually give them a sheet to take home that looks really nice, that they can, keep in their vanity or whatever. That tells you all the things you need to do to take care of the extensions, because it is a lot, and it's a lot to remember if you're only telling them verbally. It also protects you a little bit. So if something does happen, you can tell them I did tell you how to take care of them. I use Jotform to take the applications for the clients, but I actually believe I can also do it on Vagaro. I just haven't set that up yet. Website, you can definitely design it yourself. I had mine designed by an agency called Good on Paper. They did an amazing job, and I'm super, super happy with them. My pricing list for extensions, since I sell them to the client by the weft, I use the Reminders app on my phone because it does these really nice bulleted lists. And that way, for all the different hair types and textures and lengths, I have a price for that. I can just grab right away when I'm quoting the price for the consultation. And CapCut. So CapCut was a game changer for social media because I make my videos there, and then you can post it to both Instagram and TikTok without having the TikTok watermark on it. Again, my name is Amanda Ozard. My social media handles are all Amanda Ozard Hair. It was a pleasure to be here. I hope you found something valuable, and I hope you go have a very organized business with more free time for yourselves. So thank you.